Alright, so we're looking at Benco 2025, Section 3, Test 5. So first question, number 37. From the total number of apples Zana had, she shared them among 3 friends. Samir received 240 apples, which is 2/5 of the 2/3 of the total apples. She shared the remainder between Sophia and Christopher so that Christopher received 30 more than Sophia. How many apples did Christopher receive? So looking at this question here now, we realize part of it unequal sharing. And then we have to solve for another part. So from the beginning they said from the total number of apples that I had, but it did not give us the total. So what we could find out first is the total. Because it said Samir received 240 apples, which is 2/3 of the total apples. So we know a fraction, which is 2/3, and we know the quantity that equals to is 240. So to calculate the total, it will be the quantity given multiplied by the invert of the fraction, which will become 3/2. 2 into 2, 1. 2 into 240 is 120. 120 by 3 is 360. So we know she had a total of 360 apples. So good. They said now she shared the remainder between Sophia and Christopher. But again, they said she shared the remainder. We don't know how much is the remainder. So we have to solve for the remainder. And we know the remainder would be from the total, which is 360, we taken away the number of apples she gave to Samir, which is 240. So we'll remain with 120 apples. So we know now from this 120 apples, she shared that between Christopher and Sophia. So that Christopher received 30 more than Sophia. So using an equal share now, to solve for Christopher, it would be from the total that was shared between Sophia and Christopher, which is 120. We take away now the 30 extra, and we put aside that. And we remain with 90 apples. This 90 apples, we share that between 2 people. So each received 45. We know Christopher now, he received 45 plus the extra 30 that we put aside. So Christopher received 75 apples. Moving on now to number 38. It says 7 pieces of metal pipes, each 15 meters long, are joined together using pieces of metal pipes 8 meters long. There is an overlay on each joint as shown in the diagram below. So this is the diagram here. Alright, so we see the overlay, we see the length of pipe. So good, so that means it overlay or overlap by 3 meters on each side, on either side here. So alright. They said calculate the total length of the pipes joined from the first metal pipe to the end of the 7th metal pipe. So good. Very simple. So we just need to take it in parts. So, looking at it here now, we see that it is joined and it overlay or overlap by 3 meters here and 3 meters here. So therefore, this extra piece here in the middle will add on to the length to form this piece here between here. So let's calculate the length added at each joining. So we know now the total piece here was 8 meters, and we need to take away the sum of the extra pieces that were overlaid, which was the 3 meters on one side and 3 meters on the next side. So that remains with 2 meters. So we know this little piece here is 2 meters. So good. From the first to the 7th pipe, that equals to 6 areas joined. So that means again 6 of these pieces here between the first and the 7th. So let's calculate the total length of added pieces. So to calculate the total added pieces, which are these here in the middle, we take the 6 faces and multiply it by the length of one added species, which is 2 meters. 6 multiplied by 2 is 12 meters. So you get a total of 12 meters added on to the length here. We know now it is 7. They said it was from the first to the 7th. So it's 7 poles we're looking at, or 7 pipes. So we want to calculate the length from the first to the 7th pipe, just the pipes alone. So that would be 7 pipes multiplied by the length of one pipe, which we know is 15 meters, which is equal to 105 meters. I wanted to calculate the total length. So total would be the total length of pipes, which is 105 meters, add the total added on spaces here, which we found out to be 12 meters. And that will give us 117 meters. So for the length from the first to the 7th pole would be 117 meters. Moving on now to number 39. They said complete the shape property table below for the solid that is formed using 1 square and 4 isosceles triangle. So if it's 1 square and 4 isosceles triangle, we get a square base pyramid. And then a square base pyramid, now we know we have 5 faces because it's 1 square, 4 triangles, 5 faces. We have 8 edges, and we also have 5 vertices. Very simple. Number 40. The incomplete bar graph below shows the number of fruits sold by Anaya in a day. Alright, so this axis shows the number of fruits. This here shows the different fruits. They said the number of oranges sold was 1/3 the number of pears. So pears we know is 15. Alright, so we know oranges is 1/3 of that. They said the average number of fruits sold was 14. 14 was the average. And they said now from the total number of mangoes and apples sold, 33 1/3% were apples and the remainder mangoes. Complete the bar graph to show the number of mangoes sold. So good. So taking it part by part, because we have many unknowns here, Let's start solving for the unknowns, alright? The things that we don't know. So they said here now, the number of oranges sold was 1/3 the number of pears. So let's calculate for oranges first. So oranges is equal to 1/3 of mean to multiply. Pears was 15. So 1/3 of 15, which is equal to 5. So we know 5 oranges were sold. They also gave us the average number of fruits sold, which was 14. Again, whenever we need to solve for an unknown, we always find for the sum or the total when given the average and the number of numbers. So to calculate the total fruit sold, it would be the 14 multiplied by 4. That will give us 56. So you know when you add up pears, oranges, mangoes, and apples, we have a total of 56 fruits. Now we can calculate the sum or the total of mangoes and apples because we know these two already. We know pears and we know oranges and we know the total. So mangoes and apples is equal to the 56, which is the total. Take away the sum of the pears and the oranges, which is 15 plus 5, which is 20, which will leave us with 36. So we know a total of 36 mangoes and apples were sold. They said here now, from the total number of mangoes and apples sold, which we just worked out to be 36, they said 33 1/3% were apples and the remainder were mangoes. So let's calculate the apples. 33 1/3% we know as a fraction is 1/3. So apples would be 1/3 of 36, which is equal to 12. They said the remainder were mangoes. So let's calculate mangoes now. So from the remainder, from the total, which is we found out to be 36, we taken out the apples, which is 12. We'll end up with 24. So 24 mangoes were sold. They said now complete the bar graph. So we draw in the bar for mangoes at 24. Alright, make sure and grab yourself a copy of the maths formula book. Has formula with examples. It will come in handy when doing practice questions to always remember your formula.